right, welcome to today's webinar. I am Heather Hakes. You have signed up for a webinar to learn about procrastination and how to stop doing it. I find it very ironic that there was a lot of registrations and nobody showed up to the live. So it's like, damn, how you do anything is how you do everything. But today I want to help you understand why you're procrastinating and how to stop doing it. And what I want to ask you is this, and I am going to send you a replay link. So I'd love for you to comment below. How many of you start your day hitting the snooze button? Because if you wake up and first thing in the morning is hitting the snooze button, think about that, right? You've already set your standard for the day that you procrastinate. And I only bring this up because it's something I used to do. I used to wake up every morning and hit the snooze button 2, probably 3 times, roll out of bed, rush around, rush in traffic, and get to work. That is how my day was, day in and day out, a procrastination feedback loop. That's just what it was until I decided no more. So that's why you're here today, right? Procrastination is keeping you stuck. And I would also love to hear from you. You can comment below. Where are you procrastinating in life? Is it your health? Is it your finances? Is it your daily productivity? You know, like, is this just a habitual thing that you're doing in all areas of life? Because ultimately, I would love to hear what is that area that you're procrastinating in so we can help you stop doing that. Now, here's what I've heard from somebody before. I know what I need to be doing it. I know what I need to be doing, and I'm still not doing it. And so I'd love to hear from you. Is that something you can resonate with? You know you need to eat healthier and get daily movement, and you're not doing it. You know you need to do that thing in business, and you're not doing it. You know you need to do fill in the blank, but you have so much internal resistance that you avoid it at all costs, right? Procrastination is avoidance, lack of follow through, and we're going to get into what's really going on, because procrastination is simply a symptom of a much deeper rooted problem. And that's what I ultimately do with my coaching clients is, you have to think of your mind as a mental garden, and the thoughts you think and your daily habits are fertilizing, creating more of the same. So I'm not here to make the picture prettier. We're not here to mow the weeds. I want to help you pull the weeds and plant new seeds. And procrastination is a habit that you've implemented, and it is time to break that habit, literally break the habit of being yourself if you want to experience change in your life. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen with you. I put together this presentation because ultimately I love teaching. I'm very visual, so I want you to see these things. So let's get to it. Sorry, just a sec. Okay, so here we go. Today's, live training is all about how to eliminate procrastination for good. I'm ultimately going to teach you why you procrastinate. I'm going to help you implement steps to eliminate procrastination. And ultimately, this is about developing new winning habits and building that self-trust and confidence, new follow-through, new ways of thinking and being. And finally, a focused strategy to crush your goals. I highly recommend you take notes. You will learn more from it by actively listening rather than passively listening. So make sure you're all in on this. Tune out your other distractions. Ultimately, this is the first thing that I teach all of my coaching clients so you understand where you are in life. I call it the thought cycle. It's a simple 4-step process. Your thoughts create your emotions and feelings, which lead to the actions, or in your case, the inactions like procrastination you're continually doing, and creating every result in your life. That's why you have to understand, if you're currently not satisfied in your health, finances, business, productivity, mental health, whatever area of life you're not happy in, we got to reverse engineer it, okay? So when you reverse engineer and you realize, oh, well, I'm constantly procrastinating, of course you're going to end up with shitty results. Procrastination is not going to get you to where you want to be. You're already aware of that, right? But you don't understand why you procrastinate. So let's back it up. You have to understand your emotions and feelings are leading to this habit of procrastination, and all of that stemmed from thought. So think of it like this, and you most likely are not even aware of why you procrastinate. Otherwise, I'm sure you would stop doing it. And that's when we come to the what I call mental programming, the subconscious mind. This is 95% of the picture running the show. So look up here, your conscious mind, you have a desire to better your health, relationships, finances, productivity, reach those business goals. That is your conscious mind, 5% of the picture wanting change in your life. But guess what? You are trying to use that 5% to override the 95% of your programming. And 95% of your programming in the subconscious mind are your habits, your beliefs, your patterns, memories, emotions. So that's why this is what I call the weeds. You have a weed, a habit of procrastination. We've got to pull that weed, understand why you do what you do, so that you can stop procrastination and get the results you want in your life. Now, if this makes sense to you and you're like, all right, I'm in, I want to figure out how to stop doing this. Number one, let's start here. I do offer a free discovery call. You can get this on my website, heatherhakes.com, right here, this first button. Book your free discovery call. If you truly want change in your life, today's presentation, I'm going to give you the knowledge behind it, why you're doing what you're doing. But knowledge alone is not going to change your habit of procrastination. You likely need clarity on why you do it, accountability to stop doing it, and that forward focus to go after your goals. And that is what I do with my coaching clients. Again, it's totally free. You can book your discovery call on my website, heatherhakes.com, and this will take you through that process. So again, it ultimately comes back to you want to change the habit of procrastination. You know it's not serving you. And ultimately, I want you to realize this. Procrastination is a form of self-sabotage. Now, I want to show you, before we go there, I want to show you this. So you are aware right here, think of this, the tip of, this is an iceberg. Think of the tip of it right here, up here, the conscious mind. This is the 5%. You know you're procrastinating. You might also feel symptoms like, oh, I just don't, there's not enough time in the day. I'm not good with time management. Somebody else reached out to me recently. Oh, it's self-discipline. Yes, self-discipline is 100% your problem. But you also might have uncertainty, overwhelm, stress, and that's what's leading to the procrastination. But again, that's the symptom. You've got to deal with the root cause of your procrastination. And that's what I want to share with you here. The root cause, and again, I would have to have a conversation with you to understand where you're at and why you have this habit of procrastination. But a lot of times, and in my case, I procrastinated because I had a lot of self-doubt and imposter syndrome. Many other people have fear of failure. And guess what? You can't fail if you don't start. So I want you to think of it there. And potentially look down here, you might feel unworthy of the success you want. You might feel unworthy of that financial success. A lot of procrastination is driven by fear. Again, potentially overwhelm, not having clarity, taking on too much. This is the big picture of it. So look, knowledge alone is not power. Applied knowledge is power. Now that you're understanding, okay, I know I have this habit of procrastination right here. That is the tip of the iceberg. And look, you've tried to overcome it time and time again, right? You've tried to, but there's so much internal resistance because that's 95% of your programming running the show, keeping you in a habit of procrastination, even though you want change. That's why you're not succeeding. And that's why you need to understand, me as a coach, when I have a 30,000 foot overview to see why you're doing what you're doing, because you're so far in the weeds, you likely can't see clearly. I've invested in myself and had many coaches over the years. But that's the best part about coaching, right? Like I can see outside of it. I'm not emotionally attached to it. I can see your blind spots and help you get out of that vicious cycle not serving you. Again, procrastination is a form of self-sabotage. So I want you to think of it right now. Do you believe it might be self-doubt? That it might be fear of failure. People even have fear of success. Do you believe potentially, wow, yeah, maybe I feel unworthy? And because I feel unworthy, of course, I'm not going to do the thing I know I need to do because then, well, it might it might debunk my fears, right? My thoughts around that. So let me back it up from here. Ultimately, procrastination is where you currently are sitting in life. You are stuck in the gap between your intention to do the thing you know you need to do and taking the action to actually get it done. So, for example, again, when I was sitting in this funk of procrastination because I had self doubt, and again, just knowing that wasn't enough, procrastination leads to what are some side effects, right? Distraction, think about numbing out on social media, whatever your vice may be, shopping, drinking, drugs, sex, porn, whatever it is. We all have that vice that is keeping us distracted because ultimately, as humans, we seek pleasure and we avoid pain. And somehow you have created so much resistance and pain around doing the thing you need to do. And that's why you procrastinate because somehow you think there's pain involved in doing this. Okay. Also, think about, we come up with justifications and excuses. I'll start tomorrow. I'll start Monday. I need another certificate. I need to do this thing and then I'll be ready. Let me tell you this. You are ready right here, right now, today. You have everything you need to get started. What we do is we talk ourselves out of greatness instead of into it. And we keep ourselves stuck in these negative patterns, procrastination, because we don't feel worthy or enough yet, right? I want you to know your ducks may never be in a row. You have to get started. You have to break this habit of procrastination to get to where you want to go. And right now, you've created this habit. So you've created a comfort zone of procrastination, an identity around it, and that's what's keeping you stuck. Again, something I shared with you, maybe there's overwhelm, self criticism, you might have shame, guilt. And it ultimately just creates this vicious cycle, this negative feedback loop keeping you stuck. Okay, so now you know, right? Now you have a whole lot more knowledge around procrastination, but that's not going to get you bridging that gap from where you are to where you want to go because it has to do with that subconscious mind. That's where you have to get into. That's what I truly help my coaching clients with is understanding what's driving those behaviors, creating that forward focus, the momentum to get out of your own way. So here's what I want to share with you. How I got myself out of that procrastination feedback loop. So let me stop sharing my screen for just a moment. Here's how I got out of it. Again, I found myself in a funk. So much procrastination. This is a few years ago. I stopped creating content because I had so much self-doubt and imposter syndrome. And because I had so much self-doubt, let's go back to that thought cycle. So much self-doubt, it led to fear, worry, anxiety, overwhelm. And the actions I was taking was procrastination. So ultimately, it was an inaction, creating shitty results in my life. For me, it was creating no income and no impact. And that's not what I wanted. So, how did I get out of it? One, I've had coaches along my journey, but two, I have a lot of tools in my tool belt. I'm fully immersed in understanding this. And so I had to sit down and have so much compassion and self love that I no longer wanted to continue that cycle. I no longer wanted to keep repeating the pattern of procrastination. So I started small. Something for me, I live in a 2-story townhome. I would collect the trash and set it at the top of the stairs. And how many times have you collected trash or maybe, you have dishes and you put them in the sink? I had to create baby steps of follow through and completing tasks. So for me, It was collecting the trash and right then walking down the stairs, dumping it in the trash in my garage, and then going back up to do whatever I needed to do. For you, if you don't make your bed in the morning, I think that is a great place to start because you want to start your day building momentum and winning habits with a completed task. I grew up making my bed. That's something I've done since forever. So that wasn't something for me. But again, start these small tasks because you have to build self trust, confidence, and follow through. So again, for me, it was that trash. And then it was, when I did laundry, as soon as the dryer was done, I folded it and I put it away. No more would it sit in the dryer for days or get taken out and sit on the floor for days. I stopped procrastinating in all areas of my life. I love this saying in this quote: how you do anything is how you do everything. So I want you to be honest with yourself. Where are you procrastinating? And can you now see it trickling into many areas of your life? The second step for me was I had to stop hitting the snooze button. The snooze button could no longer be part of my morning routine. I committed when my alarm went off, I had to get up. So the fact that you hit the snooze button means you have built in time in the morning that you're sitting there snoozing. Set your alarm for the last possible minute you can get up so you're not rushing around, living in a state of reactive and being, a lot of chaos in the morning. That's a stress state, a survival state. Stop doing that. So that's just a couple ways you can do this, right? Create small steps of follow through, stop hitting the snooze button. So let me get back to when I was really in that funk. Remember, we seek pleasure, avoid pain, but I was in a lot of pain. No income, no impact. So guess what? I stopped making it about me. The fact that I had a lot of self-doubt and imposter syndrome, who am I to do this? Who's going to listen to me? I have overcome a lot of things in my life. I have invested a lot of time, tens of thousands of dollars into this. I know it. So in order for me to get over that self-doubt and imposter syndrome, I had to take action. I had to start creating content. But most importantly, and this is what I want to take you to take note and do this for yourself. You've got to create a why, right? So if this is procrastination around your health, you need to create such a strong why that you want to be in the best shape for, maybe it's your partner or to be around for your children, or so that you don't create chronic health conditions. If it's creating success in your business, that strong why could be so maybe you can employ others or take care of your family or your community. Come up with your why. So my why was, even if I help one person, I wanted to show up and do what I needed to do, which was creating content, because I know how bad it feels to suffer and struggle and sit in the funk. I know how bad that feels, and I don't want anyone else to feel that. So my strong why became not about me, but it became about helping somebody else who felt stuck in the funk and wanting to overcome it. That was my why. That was my driver. When I got so clear on that driver, that is how I showed up every day, creating these new habits of consistency and follow through, and knowing that I am here to help other people. So come up with your strong why, okay? I want you to do that. Now, what I want to show you is, let me share my screen again. I want you to see this. Again, I'm so visual, but I want you to imagine yourself right here. We've created, you've heard that saying, we create a mountain out of molehill. I have found time and time again, the amount of time I spent avoiding or distracting myself from the task I know I needed to do oftentimes was way more time and mental energy than it actually took to do the task. So here's what I want you to do. No longer give yourself that opportunity to talk yourself out of it, to distract yourself, to delay, to put it off anymore. You are down here. The goal, the task, the thing you want to accomplish is up here. And the only way to get there is to take action. The only way to get there is to break that habit of this identity you've created around procrastination to stop doing it, to build that self-trust and the confidence to no longer be a procrastinator. 80% of adults admit to procrastinating. That doesn't make it right, right? It's holding you back. And I want to ask you this and be honest. If you continue procrastinating, if you continue down this path for another 3 months or 6 months, or let's say a year from now, we're having this exact same conversation, what is that procrastination costing you? How much money is it costing you? Your happiness, your mental health, what is that costing you? Is it affecting your sleep? Is it affecting your financials? You have to get so clear on how much pain that it's going to continue costing you so that you will stop doing it. You have to decide to make a change in your life, and it comes down to you. I can give you all the tools. You've likely heard this before, right? You can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink. I can give you all the tools and the know-how, but you have to decide for yourself that you want more for you. That procrastination is a part of the old you, right? So here's we've already gone through this. Here's what I want to help you do now. I want to share with you 4 steps to help you with this procrastination habit. Step number 1, in that moment. So let's say first thing in the morning when you want to go hit snooze, or when you have this big project and you're feeling that overwhelm. Step number 1, you've got to become aware in that moment and acknowledge your urge to procrastinate and choose to move forward. So for example, if you have a big project and you're overwhelmed, here's how I do it. You got to break it down, right? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So what you can do is sit down and make a list, get it out of your head onto pen and paper. Make a list of all the things you need to do and then prioritize them. Maybe you need to delegate, maybe you need to eliminate, but ultimately create clarity and chunk it down. What can you do right now? What can you do today? What can you do this week? So that is step number 1. Becoming aware of your urge to procrastinate and choosing to move forward despite that resistance, right? The only way past fear is through it. Okay, step number 2, let's say it is self-doubt, imposter syndrome, fear of failure. I want you to challenge those disempowering beliefs. Now, again, we tend to talk ourselves out of greatness instead of into it. And let's say you're in unknown, uncharted waters. This is something new. So you're procrastinating. Maybe it's clarity, overwhelm, fear of failure. So the way you could challenge a disempowering belief in that instance or self-doubt is, have you ever faced having to do something new before? Of course you have. Change is the only constant in our life. You at one time had to learn to ride a bike. You had to learn to drive a car. You had to learn test taking skills. You had to learn the skills that you have today. So you can tackle difficult things. You have the skills, you have the abilities when you focus and when you go all in, right? So you have to challenge those disempowering beliefs. You have to push through that resistance. Step number 3, and this is so important, right? Staying in our comfort zone, distracting, avoiding is comfortable because we don't want to face what we think is a potential painful situation. What is fear? False evidence appearing real. So step number 3, embrace that discomfort you're feeling, to that urge to procrastinate, and reframe your excuses. Again, sitting in that space of self-doubt or imposter syndrome, I had to embrace that, but reframe it because I had such a strong why that if I didn't show up and create the content and take action and create forward momentum, I couldn't help somebody. So this is where you embrace that discomfort and remember that strong why so that can be your driver. Finally, step number 4, remove distractions and take action. Something that has helped me a ton is on my phone using the do not disturb function. That is because otherwise it's so easy to, out of habit, to pick up my phone and check social channels, check email, anything to avoid and distract myself, right? So eliminate distractions, turn off notifications, turn off the do not disturb. If you know that you don't function well working from home, go to a coffee shop, start paying for a work remote center and have an office. Do what you need to do to create that self-discipline, to create focus, to create clarity so that you can start taking action and break this habit of being yourself. So here's what I want to help you do. The fact that you showed up for this tells me you want change in your life. And I would love to help you get there. So I am offering you to schedule a free discovery call. Again, you can get this on my website, heatherhakes.com. Click that button, schedule a discovery call, and then you'll just fill out the short form and schedule it with me. But ultimately, here's what I want you to know. That when you break the habit of being yourself, when you stop this constant habit of procrastination, what's on the other side of that for you? What health benefits will you gain? What financial success and business success and relational success will you gain when you can get past this habit? Here's something I want to share with you. One of my clients, a huge win, a huge breakthrough. And he came to me with this was his main problem in life. He's like, I just constantly procrastinate. He woke up every morning hitting the snooze button, which led to not taking care of himself. He wasn't working out in the mornings anymore. He had a long commute to work, working all day, and excusitis was his problem. So that's what we got him to do. Number one, he stopped hitting snooze in the morning. With that time management umbrella symptom, he learned he was able to eliminate, delegate, and automate things in his life and win back 10 hours in his week. So he stopped hitting the snooze button, worked on time management, won back 10 hours in his week, and started swimming in the mornings again. And we did that in a very short window of time. So that's what I want you to know is possible for you. You can go from where you are to where you want to be when you bridge that gap. When you break those old habits, when you create new winning habits and that forward focus, clarity, and direction in your life. Again, I want to offer you help in this. I invite you to book your free discovery call, but ultimately, if you just take away one thing from today's training, I would love to hear it from you. Comment below. What is the one thing that you're going to do to take action to stop your habit of procrastination? I thank you so much for signing up for today's training, for watching this all the way through, and it is time to start living your best life. All right, we'll catch you on the next one.